everyone, welcome to my channel, 10 Ways to Wear It. I'm Alicia, and on this channel I take one fashion item or one fashion trend and show you all 10 different ways to wear it. Now I know some of y'all have heard that intro a million times and you're still gonna be hearing it because your girl has hit 70,000 on YouTube. I can't even believe it, but I thought this would be a great time for me to go ahead and sit down and just chit chat about my experiences on YouTube, any tips and advice that I can give you all, as well as some of my unpopular opinions. So we're gonna be spilling some tea in today's video as well. So if you wanna hear my thoughts about YouTube, as well as some details about me personally, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. 70,000. Okay, so jumping right into the video, the first thing I want to talk about is why I started my YouTube channel. I've always been a big connoisseur of YouTube. I'd say about 2010, 2011 is when I really started to like watch YouTube, and I call it YouTube University like most people because I've learned so much stuff from YouTube. I would watch cooking videos, lifestyle videos, fashion videos, and I just fell in love with it. And being the person that has always loved fashion that I am, I've always loved fashion. I was a chubby kid, but I always felt like I could dress cute, and I always felt like I could wear what I want to. I just needed to put my own spin on it. So I've always been that girl who loves fashion. I remember fighting my cousins and my sister over the JCPenney catalog because I would cut out the pictures and then use them to create outfits and like mix up the pieces. So this whole 10 ways to wear a thing, it's been in the making for a long time, since I was a little girl, because I would love to take like pieces and like style them with different pieces, my little cutouts from the magazine. So I've always loved fashion. So that's reason number one, being a fashion lover. I wanted to start a YouTube channel focused on fashion. Another thing was that I wanted to see more mid-size to plus-size women on YouTube. When I first got into it, there weren't a lot of women my size. I consider myself mid to plus size because I'm a 12 to 14. Also, I consider myself to be average body, meaning my proportions are average. My shoulder to waist width or ratio is average. So I'm not like that Coke bottle shape or anything like that. So I wanted to see more women shaped like me on YouTube, styling up pieces, showing people how to wear pieces, showing people how they can dress our body type. But I also just saw a need for more styling on YouTube. I saw like a lot of like videos trying to get you to buy things, but I wouldn't see a ton of content on how to wear them. So I was like, you know what? When I start my channel, I'm gonna be showing people how to wear stuff. So of course you definitely see hauls and, you know, me trying to sell you stuff on my channel, but the majority of what you see is me showing you styling ideas, fashion ideas, and things like that. So those are some of the reasons that I wanted to start my YouTube channel. In addition to that, if you do or do not know, I work in law enforcement. I work for a law enforcement agency, and I have the fortune of working a 3-12 schedule. Now, if you're a nurse or certain professions, then you know what that means. That means you work 3 days and you're off 4 every week. So I had a lot of time on my hands when I took on this job. So you know what? I said, I have the time. I can basically do it full time if I want to, being that I'm off 4 days a week, so why not? So that was another reason I needed a creative outlet to occupy more of my time, because I just found myself having a lot of idle time. And for me, idle time historically in my life hasn't always been a good thing. I've suffered from depression in the past and things like that. So I just wanted to make sure I was doing something constructive and healthy with all that idle time that I had. So I said, you know what? I need a creative outlet. I love fashion. I love getting dressed when I'm not in my uniform. So why not start a YouTube channel? So that's how it all started. All positive reasons, all positive things. And this is where we are today. So now I want to talk about what I would do differently if I were to start a channel today. It would certainly involve fashion because I love fashion, but the channels that I love the most and actually watch the most are not fashion channels. Some of them incorporate fashion slightly, but they're food review channels. I love the food community on YouTube, and being a foodie myself, I definitely think I could do like a food review or a cooking channel or something like that. Those are my favorite channels, and I listed some of my faves on here. Honeysuckle is a channel that I love. I love her channel. She does like all types of cooking videos. She does lifestyle videos, and they're always so lighthearted and fun. I also love the Korean Vegan. I love Allison's channel. She does a lot of really lighthearted and warm vlogs, and she does a lot of lifestyle content, cooking content, and things like that. She just kind of incorporates a little bit of everything, so I love her channel. Lavendaire is another channel that I love. just all the cooking channels, Mikey Chin's channel, Simply Dumpling, like food review channels, Lisa Nguyen. Like, you would be surprised at what I actually sit and watch on YouTube. And another thing I love about like the food review and the food and the cooking community on YouTube is that they're very united and supportive of each other. And I don't so much see that in all the other genres on YouTube. So another thing that I would incorporate more of if I were starting today is financial and budgeting information. And that is something that you will see more of on my channel coming up. Is I just want to help people. So I think helping with financial and budgeting information is so awesome. And those are some of the other channels that I follow. I love budgeting and financial channels that teach you about stocks, how to save your money, where to put your money, things like that, and really give you definitions of what different types of financial entities are. I love those channels. I find them to be so helpful. And I'm actually gonna list my favorite channels in the description on this video so you guys can look at them and see if you're interested in following. But yeah, if I were to do anything differently, I would definitely do food, either cooking, food reviews, or something like that, because I'm definitely a foodie and I have a passion for food that I think kind of levels with my passion for fashion. So I would definitely do something relating to food, and that is something I probably will move towards when I move out of this apartment, doing more videos like that, cook with me's and stuff like that. But we'll talk about that later in this video. And then also the financial and budgeting. And like I said, I'll list my faves below. These are the channels that definitely I would probably lean more towards if I was starting today, but we're not starting today, so fashion is the passion. Fashion is where we at. Let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is what has been the most challenging thing on YouTube for me. And definitely a lot of it's interpersonal. The number one challenging thing for me is watching my content without judgment. I am so hard on myself, you guys. I can be terrible on myself. So sometimes I cringe watching my own content. Like, it's not so much about the content, it's more about just watching myself, my mannerisms, stuff like that. So when people leave me like comments, it's like, girl, I already know. Like, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know, because I looked at the video and, you know, literally been like, oh God, like, why did I say y'all so many times, or why did I do this? Girl, I see it. I see it, okay? But that's one thing that's been a challenge for me. Another thing is like just the idea of knowing that my content is useful and helpful. That's so important to me. I want my content to be useful. A lot of people are just putting out content and it just seems like they're putting it out for themselves. Yes, I want to put out content that I love and that's about me and for me, but I want to put out content that's useful for you as well. And I think a lot of people aren't considering that when they're making their content. I see a lot of content that's just like, how is this gonna help me? How are you showing me? I see it a lot. You know, I don't like to judge other people. I just try to stick to what I'm doing. And for me personally, the idea of really being sure that my content is useful and helpful has been sort of a challenge for me, because I want it to be useful to my audience. Another thing is being comfortable on camera. Like, you know, sometimes I babble on. I might be doing that right now. So that can be an issue for me. Another thing is, let's see here. I wrote down some notes, you guys. Oh, figuring it all out on my own. That's a big one. Like, I really haven't had anybody that I can go to for advice or guidance with my YouTube content, you know, from everything from creating the content, posting it, starting my channel, creating my channel, setting up an LLC, you know, that's gonna be the supporting system for my platform and my branding, affiliates, affiliate links. Nobody helped me with any of that. It was all my own research. And that's something I want to say to you guys. Don't expect that the world is going to come to your rescue when you start something new, and whether that's going to be YouTube or any type of online boutique, a business. You're gonna have to do a lot yourself these days, because people are just not in the business of helping. I've sent messages to people just to ask like one simple question and never got a response. You know, that's just the way it is. And I don't feel upset about it. I don't feel any type of way about it, because people are not obligated to help me. What is an obligation is for me to do research and help myself. So figuring it all out on my own has been a challenge. I'm not technologically inclined, so figuring out how I'm gonna get these videos together and all of that was a challenge, but I figured it out, and you will too. Believe in yourself, and if you're doing something that you're passionate about, trust me, you will find a way, and God and the stars and the universe and everything else will align to make a way for you. So trust and believe that. But yes, figuring it all out on my own, not having resources to go to help me out. That's been a big challenge. So those are the things that I've found to be the most challenging, that I'm continuously working to overcome. And you know, it's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. So hopefully you guys will continue along this journey with me as I get better and better. Let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about. Okay, so the next thing I want to get into, and I probably should have done this one second, is what you may or may not know about me. So since this video is not like an official Q&A, I'm probably going to do that, you know, when I get to 100K, hopefully. But I do want to share some things about myself. So the first thing is I work in law enforcement. I shared that a little bit ago. I have an identical twin, and she also has an Instagram. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she has an Instagram, and you can follow her at Discovering Eli on Instagram. If you want to check out her Instagram, she does travel content, lifestyle content, and she's just really, really cool. Like, her content is just super awesome, and you'll get to see basically my face again, like a little bit different though. But I do have an identical twin. I'm attached, so I have a long-term boyfriend that I've been in a relationship with for years. Let's see, I pursued an acting career in my late teens and early 20s. So formerly, your girl was an actress, and I actually joined Screen Actors Guild, also known as SAG. I joined AFTRA, which is the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So I was pretty serious for a minute, but I didn't have like that support system, so I ended up just giving it up. I didn't want to be a starving actress, so I looked for a real job and got one. Another thing you may or may not know about me is that I'm very homely. I love to cook and I love to entertain. So I cannot wait to get out of this apartment. Y'all, I can't wait to have the space to really entertain. I've always wanted to start a supper club, so I'm super excited to do that when I move. And that's definitely going to be a part of my YouTube content in the future. More cooking videos, more entertaining type of videos. I love that kind of stuff. So look forward to that. But I love to cook, love to entertain. And I'm a very homely person. I'm not so much a street runner. Like, I'm almost like a grandma, basically, without the kids or the grandkids, basically. Another thing about me is that I enjoy connecting with people. Most of the jobs that I've had have been the types of jobs that allow me to connect with in some form or fashion with people. I'm actually a people lover. It's so weird because I'm a people hater and a people lover. I guess that's an Aquarian thing. I'm very much a humanitarian. I care about people's safety. And so it's no wonder that I even work in the field that I work in, because I love people and I love being out with people, around with people. So I work out in the public. So, you know, don't be surprised if you guys see me out in the streets one day. If you out here in Southern California, you might see me and be like, aren't you, girl? You know, and I'll be in my uniform. You know what I'm saying? Don't hate on me though. Love me. Love me. I love you. That I'm an aspiring author. So I have 4 completed novels. 4 completed novels. Completed. That I will be starting to pitch. 2 of them right now are with an editor that's reviewing them for errors and things like that. So that takes a while to do. So that'll be a minute before I get those first 2 back. But yes, I am an aspiring author. I've always loved writing as well as fashion and a lot of other things. Writing has always been something that I've loved, and I've always been a pretty gifted writer even as a child. So, you know, your girl is an aspiring author as well. And if I could tell y'all anything, put your feet in more than one pond, okay? We all need to be doing that these days, okay? Make sure you're doing it too. But yes, an aspiring author, former actress, got a twin, working in law enforcement. Look, those are some things you may or may not know about me. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is what I've learned, and this is going to be a template for advice for aspiring influencers. So if you're an aspiring influencer out there, this is my advice to you based on what I've learned. The first thing that I've learned is that you need to have some degree of style that's generally appealing if you're going to be a fashion influencer or a fashion content creator. You need to have some degree of style that is appealing to the general population. So this is just something that I want to tell you guys. Like, it's a hard pill to swallow, but I've had people, you know, that tell me they want to do what I do. I don't even know how to say this, y'all, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, you gotta have some degree of style that's appealing to people, and not just people, but the general population, because my style can be out there. I don't even show y'all some of what it could be, but I show you the part of my style that's generally appealing, that I do love, and that I think will work for the masses also. You need to have some degree of style if you're going to be a fashion content creator or a fashion influencer. You want people to, you know, find some relation to what you're showing them and what you're sharing to them. So having some degree of style is important. And I don't know how else to say that. I don't want to make it sound in a bad way. I think that over the years, my style has improved. I think I was on the struggle bus when I first started. So when you look at some of those old videos, they definitely can be a little bit cringy as far as like what I was putting on and stuff like that, you know, but with time you get better, and when you know better, you do better, and so forth. The next thing is learn as much terminology as possible in your niche. So whether you're doing interior design, fashion, food, technological stuff, finances, whatever that is, learn as much of the terminology as you can, because when you get on camera, you don't want to sound like you don't know what you're talking about. So that's important, and that's something that I've had to learn and incorporate into my content. I've had to study, I've had to research, and I've had to learn the terminology so that I can talk and sound like I'm making some sense to you all, because a lot of y'all are smart out there, and you know when it ain't right. It's like, girl, what? That ain't what that style of top is, or that's not what that material. You gotta learn a little bit before you just start putting yourself out there. The next thing is be ready to be criticized on everything. This is something that I've learned. People will pick apart literally any and everything. It doesn't matter how, you know, kind your output is. It doesn't matter how sweet your spirit is. They're still going to find things to pick apart about you. So you have to prepare yourself for that. I have the blessing of working in a profession for the last 14 years that has prepared me for the criticism that I get on YouTube. Because when I tell y'all I've been called worse by better out there in them streets, trust me, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And it has kind of prepared me and thickened my skin for what I've dealt with on YouTube, dealing with racial comments, dealing with fat comments, dealing with comments about everything about myself, you know, just not feeding into it, and the ability to kind of let some of it roll off your back, and just being able to just block people and move on without responding. It's all part of this game, being on YouTube and putting yourself out there. And you have to understand that that is a part of putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there for the people who are going to love you, who are going to relate to your content, who are going to find, you know, really good information from you, who are also going to help you and give you constructive criticism. But you're also putting yourself out there for the trolls and the mean people and the people who are hurting, looking for somebody to project and take out their anger on. You're putting yourself out there for everything. So you have to be ready for that. So just be ready to be criticized on everything, okay? Everything from your curtains, how you got your background. Just be ready for all of it, okay? I'm telling y'all, be ready. The next thing is the love and encouragement that you receive balances things out. So, you know, that last one was kind of negative. Be ready to be criticized on everything, but know that the love, the encouragement, the support that you receive, it balances everything out. I've had days where I felt so down after work and just didn't feel good about myself, and I just sit in the bed and read you guys' comments, and I've literally started crying because I got so emotional just from the kindness being shown to me and the generosity and the support being shown to me. So just know you will receive a lot of love and encouragement, and it will balance everything out. The next thing is focus on one thing until you have a solid following, then expand. This is also my piece of advice for aspiring influencers or content creators on YouTube. Sometimes people start and they're all over the place. And so it's hard for an audience to develop because they don't know what your content is or if it's for them. I would say when you're first starting out, kind of hone in on your content, focus it more, and then as you develop a solid following, you know, just real regulars, people who are consistently supporting you and giving you the thumbs up, then you can slowly start to expand and show other things that you're interested in. But in the beginning, focus in, really develop that following, and then start to kind of pull in other things. That's my advice. Another thing is you don't need fancy equipment or to be tech savvy to start. This is another piece of advice. Don't feel like you gotta have the best camera. You can use your iPhone, you can use whatever you have. I still use a Canon DSLR camera. You guys, some of you think it's a really, really great camera, and I'm happy for that, but it's not the best camera. It's an affordable camera. I'll link it below if you're interested, but I don't have the fanciest equipment. All of my Instagram content is filmed on my iPhone, just FYI. And I'm not a tech savvy person. I'm a creative person. I'm a people person. Yes, I'm intelligent. I can definitely read and put things together if I need to, but I'm not like tech savvy, and I'm actually not technologically inclined. I don't like technology that much as far as me dealing with it. I'd rather give that to somebody else and stick to the creative side of life. But yeah, you don't need to be tech savvy or have fancy equipment to start. The next thing is do it for enjoyment, not money, because it will be a while before the money actually starts coming in. And if you do it from enjoyment versus money, your content will be a lot more authentic and relatable because it's coming from the heart. So that's another piece of advice for you all starting. Make sure you're doing it for enjoyment as a creative outlet. for something that you just really love versus doing it to make money, you guys, because you may not see money for a while. My last tip for you guys is knowing your audience is key. And I have studied my audience very well. I've learned who's following me. I read you guys' comments. It gives me a better idea of who's following me. And I can use that not so much to direct my content, because I want my content to be authentic for me, but I can use that to make sure that I'm including everybody, that I'm making sense for all of my audience. So it's good to study your audience. All of the YouTube analytics and statistics you have on your platform is very useful. Look at it once in a while to see who's following you, their ages, where they're from, what country, what nationality, and make sure that you're considering that when you're creating your content. So that's my advice for you all based on what I've learned for aspiring influencers. Hopefully these tips will help you out, and hopefully they will encourage you to go ahead and start right now. All right, y'all, I got hot. I got my little fan right here. But yeah, I got hot because I'm about to talk some crap. That's the Lord telling me don't do it. But anyway, we're gonna spill a little bit of tea. Of course, I am not the kind of person who would ever talk about what anybody else is doing on their channel. I don't feel that's my place. I don't feel there's a need for that. I will not talk about what anybody else is doing on their channel. That's just not me. Whatever people want to do, however they want to create their content, that's their prerogative. I have the choice to either enjoy it or not, or move on. So I don't talk about what other people do on their channel. But these are going to be some of my unpopular opinions about YouTube and what I think is the real. And so this is tea right here. The first thing is how you look does affect your growth rate, and that's just on period. That's just facts. Somebody who is thinner, you know, has a certain type of body, they're going to grow faster than somebody who is, let's say, plus size, that looks a certain way. Now, when I say looks a certain way, a lot of you should be able to piece together what I'm saying. If you're a dark-skinned black woman, if you're like super dark, it's going to affect your growth rate. And unfortunately, that has a lot to do with colorism. It has a lot to do with featureism. It has a lot to do with people just trusting information more based on the way a person looks. You know, so if you're like a natural hair person, it could all filter into how fast you grow. So keep that in mind. That's my unpopular opinion. How you look affects how fast you grow, because I see people creating trash content, but because of how they look, they just grow at a rate that's just like, wow. And then you see people who look a certain way creating really good, helpful, useful content that we can actually apply to our lives, that we can actually relate to and understand, and they grow at a snail's pace. And that's just the reality of YouTube as well as social media in general. How you look affects your growth rate, and I think that has been something that has affected my growth rate. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. In the next one I want to talk about, this is another unpopular opinion. People prefer to follow those they want to look like rather than those they actually look like. And that also filters in what I just said. How you look affects your growth rate. So people, they'll see somebody whose body looks more like theirs and still want to follow the person whose body looks nothing like theirs, who's wearing things that they won't look so good in, who's buying things that, you know, won't really work for them. I see that a lot. And being a person who's in this business now, who has studied it, I don't just see it, the statistics support it. People would rather follow people who look the way they want to look versus people who actually look like them. And that's just the reality. The next tip relates to that. People prefer to follow those with lifestyles they desire to have versus those whose lifestyle resembles theirs. So people, this is why you see a huge boom in like luxury content and stuff like that. And I love it too. I think it's a great idea, you know, to fake it till you make it, to look at those who are aspiring where you want to be. And so I definitely get the reasoning behind it. But the reality is people would rather support those who are where they want to be, whose lifestyle is where they want to be versus whose lifestyle is more closer to theirs. So just know that sometimes if your content is more affordable, you're doing, you know, more like Walmart, Shein, hauls, things like that, you're probably going to get less followers than somebody who's doing luxury. You might grow at a slower rate because people kind of want to follow what they aspire to be versus what they actually are. So that's an unpopular opinion. I'm just saying, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. The next thing is there are I pay your salary type people in your audience. So once you put yourself out there, just know that there are people who have the mentality of like they're paying for you. Not that the ads on your channel are paying you from YouTube, or like me, you have a whole nother job paying for your lifestyle and YouTube basically pays for nothing, they're gonna think that they're doing something for you by following you. So they hold that I pay your salary type of mentality. And it's funny because I deal with that on my regular job. I deal with the I pay your salary people when I'm out doing my job. You know what I'm saying? So you deal with that also a little bit on social media, but it's okay. It's okay for them to feel like that. You don't have to respond every time you get that type of attitude towards you. And just know that just because they feel like that doesn't make it true. So you just got to move on past that. Another thing is smaller platforms. This is another unpopular opinion from me. Smaller platforms get copied a lot without credit. So just know that if you are going to be creating a channel or platform that's very creative, let's say you're making jewelry out of seashells, or you're doing something really cool and creative, just know that larger platforms will copy your content and they will not credit you for it. And I've been accused of copying somebody, and the interesting thing is that my channel is older, my content has always been the same, but somehow that person, because that person had more followers, the interpretation was that I'm copying that person, even though I never had even watched that person's content up to that point. So that was pretty interesting. It's like, I've never seen her, my content is older, it's been the same since I started it, but you're interpreting that I'm copying because this person has more followers. Smaller channels can be super creative and they get copied a lot without credit. So just know that. Unpopular opinion. The next thing is, and this is going to be my last unpopular opinion, a lot of influencers are out of touch with their audience. And like I said, I don't get into specific channels or anything like that, but what I see is a lot of people are just not connected with their audience. And that goes back to what I talked about earlier, is to know your audience and be sure that when you speak, you're speaking to your audience, the people that are specifically following you. Like me, I know, 99% of my followers are women, so I'm not going to be on here talking to dudes. Like, how would that make sense? I'm not going to be on here, shaking my ass trying to appeal to dudes. Like, I know my audience. I know who's watching me, and I appreciate them, and I want to show them love by doing content that they can relate with. So just make sure, that you're not out of touch with your influencer, with your audience, because a lot of influencers are. Like, you watch their content and you can just see it. Like, maybe this was a relatable person when I first started following them, but they're not anymore. And that happens a lot in this industry. So just make sure you stay connected with your audience. Those are my unpopular opinions. Now we're gonna move back on to something a little more positive, y'all, to end the video. Y'all, I hope that tea wasn't too bad. I hope it wasn't too hot. Like I said, I don't talk about what other channels are doing. I just focus on me. But those are my unpopular opinions about this whole social media thing, and hopefully they don't trigger or bother anybody. It's just my thoughts. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk about is the future of my content. So my content will always be based in fashion because that's what I started with, that's what I love the most, and so it'll always have a main base of fashion. So I'll always do fashion videos, styling videos, hauls here and there, and so forth, thrift with me videos and things like that. Those will always be a part of my content, but I definitely plan when I move and have more space, particularly a larger kitchen, more light, that I can share more with you guys. I'm planning to do more lifestyle videos, cook with me videos. I'm definitely planning to get better at vlogging and do more vlogs. It's just a matter of energy for me. Being in such a cooped up space, like my apartment is nice, don't get me wrong, it is nice. I have a really nice apartment, but I've outgrown it. Being so cooped up is very restricting in a lot of ways. It's almost like that, energy thing. Like it just kind of, when you're cooped up, it almost halts your energy in some ways. So I just feel like once I get into a better space, I'll be able to just blossom and really hone in on the content that I want to do for you guys, besides the fashion content, because I'm definitely able to do that here. But more lifestyle videos, more vlogs, more cook with me videos, also sharing more family events. You guys know I shared a couple of trips and stuff like that with you guys. I certainly plan to do more of those, and also some entertainment videos, tablescape type videos. I love that kind of stuff, and I just can't wait to do more of it. So that's the extent of where my content is gonna go. Still gonna be based in fashion, but it's definitely gonna incorporate a little bit more of my life in more of a larger scope. So that's where it's going. Will I ever go full time? I already am full-time, so I really don't need to go full-time. Will I ever quit my job to do this? Probably not. I prefer security over popularity, so I don't see myself ever leaving the security of my job. My job provides me with some of the best health and dental insurance in the country, so that's been a reported study. My job actually pays some of the best benefits in the entire United States, so why would I leave that? The security of being able to do what I need to do when I need to do it. I recently was having tooth problems, like go to dentist, take care of this. Like, I need that. Like, I can't be, you know, paying a fortune for health insurance and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, I just like the security of my job. I grew up really poor. We didn't have much. I've been through a lot since I've been on my own. I moved out at 19 into my first apartment. My lights have been turned off when I lived on my own. My food rotted in the refrigerator. Like, I've been at the lowest points financially, and I can never get there again, if you feel me. I know some of y'all can relate to that. So I just can't risk, you know, depending on this completely. Like, it would have to be a miracle for me to say, this is going so well that I'm gonna quit my job. And on top of that, I like my job, so I'm blessed. I actually like my job, so won't be doing this full time to the extent I'll be quitting my job. I'll just be doing it around my work schedule. Let's see, what else did I write down here? Will my content change? It will always be rooted in affordable fashion, but like I said, when I move, I definitely plan to incorporate more lifestyle content and more vlogs, because I'll just be in a better space, in a bigger space, and able to just show you guys more. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. Let's share it. I already want to get better at blogging. Okay, last thing, what do you guys want to see more of from me? I know it probably will relate to, you know, vlogs and just showing more of my life, which I plan to. And if you follow me on Instagram, I do my stories a lot. Whatever I'm doing is on my stories, like literally on my stories. So that's another way that you guys can learn more about me, see more about me. My boyfriend is always on my stories. I share him all the time on there. My family, my parents, you know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, holidays, I'm with them. So if you want to see more, follow me on the gram, honey. My Instagram is always linked in the description on every video. But yeah, I hope this video is helpful to you guys. I thought it would be a great time to do it since I hit 70K. Woo, woo, 70K. We on our way to 100K, y'all. Continue to follow me, continue to watch my progress, my growth, and just continue to be a part of the team. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Nobody ain't gonna appreciate you more than I do, because I can't even believe I'm here. Honestly, I can't believe it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video all about my thoughts on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I hope that my advice, my tips will help you all. I think now is a good time to go ahead and start. I wouldn't wait another day if I were you. And if there's anything like specific you want to ask, you can definitely DM me on Instagram. I do try to check my DMs, and if it's something that I really feel like I need to answer, I'll certainly get back to you, particularly if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you like need some specific advice. Hit me up, girlfriend. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But thank y'all again for subscribing. Thank you for following me, for supporting me. So many of my day ones are still here with me. I recognize you guys. I appreciate you guys. And it's just all love over here. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you will grow to love me. I hope that I can continue to give you useful and helpful information on this channel in relation to lifestyle, fashion, and a little bit of everything else. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you're not. And to all my subscribers, I love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting me, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.